warm welcome to those of you watching this little video clip of mine. This is the first painting I started, and I just found I'm only going to work in this middle area on this particular quick session, the wave or spiral, whatever it looks like. And I just felt it needs a couple of warm colors, so I'm going to mix a few yellow ochres into it, which I'm doing there, and softening it, because after this I'm bringing a bit of a linear feel to that area and defining certain areas, because I actually want this to stand out as a focal point of the painting. So I'm going to do a little bit of brushwork here and add some nice yellow ochres and some warmer tones into the let's call it a wave or spiral. It does look a bit like a wave from this angle, but it was actually meant as a spiral initially. But as all the paintings, they take on a personality of their own, and they kind of become what they want to become if you let them. So here, I would like these areas to have that definition with a bit of line work, which is the way to do it. So there it is. Now I've done quite a bit of it, because I'm not going to film a whole lot of it. As you can see, it's there. This little area here I'm working on now, I want to create a little dam, it looks like. I want to put some of the warms on the yellow ochres into that as well, because it just looks a bit cold and damp and grey. So I want to warm that up, as I have on the right hand side earlier with the yellow ochres. You can see that where I'm at now with the brush. So I want to just extend that across a little bit. So what I do here is first I'll take some straight linseed oil, sort of put like oil in a little dam or whatever you want to call it, wet it nicely. Then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre, which I've mixed with yellow and some umber. So there, I add that in, clean my brush, and then I just gently move it into the dam. Okay, now here I've gone a little bit out of focus because I've turned the camera on quite high focus, and I do lose a bit of resolution there. I'm sorry about that. I put on some brown on the one side, and I've put some blue on the other, and I put it right next to the yellow. So I believe that if in time, as it dries with the linseed oil, it'll go across and create a nice green, because if you mix blue and yellow, obviously you get a green. So I wanted to paint itself for me while it's busy drying, so I've put quite a bit of linseed oil there. And then above this little dam area here, just found it needs a little bit more dark, a bit more emphasis. This is the nice thing at this stage. You can decide what areas have dried and how to take the painting further, because initially I had none of these things in mind. Oh yes, and here in the dam, I'm taking some plain white oil, and just putting it on top, quite thick, on top of the yellow, so that with the linseed oil it will blend in and create a nice highlight, which I feel it needs. And just wash the paint down quite watery, so that when it dries, the underneath color will shine through. And I think I will also I do put a thick blotch of white. First dry the brush, put a nice thick blotch of white over the wet paint, and let it settle and create its own magic, as it does with the linseed oil. It has a way of sort of painting itself. I'll actually leave it to do that. Now those are just a few very soft highlights here. Again, clean the brush, just tidy it up a little bit, and then leave it to do its thing. And then I'm just softening the lines here that I did put down eventually, because I don't want it to be too linear, and just define them. And the top of this wave spiral, I wanted to bring out some reds, so I'm actually putting a vermilion in here, and then rub it a little bit with a cloth, and then take some areas off with a turpentine, which I'm going to do now, which I'm doing here. And over this I'm going to put some thick whites again to really highlight it, and move it into the linseed oil, and creates a very rich, lovely effect like there. I'll do 2 or 3 of those and just let it do its own thing. You can see how it's running, so it's quite wet, which is what I want. So in time it will settle into a nice painting of its own, really. So it's painting together with what I have, which is the fun about it. Makes the painting look so natural. And this is as far as I've got in this little session. I'll just rotate it again as I normally do. Now that greeny turquoise area at the bottom right now, I'm actually going to work on that next time, but I want to push that far back, and it's on the left, and make it look very deep and mystical and not as linear as this particular front area. So I'll do that on the next one after it's dried a little bit. And yeah, that was it for this little one. Thanks for watching.